She was the granddaughter of Ernest Hemingway. And I didn't know that. I was playing a gig in the Playboy Club and in New York City, and she happened to be a guest. All I know is she looked really, really pretty. She was by far the prettiest woman there, and this place was filled with super rich people. The women had diamonds dripping off them. The men had custom-made suits with custom-made Italian loafers. You know, and I'm just this guy from the Bronx, and like I actually gave serious thought. I saw this guy with size 12 shoes, and they were custom-made Italian loafers, and I really gave serious thought to rolling him in the parking lot and stealing his shoes. But when I saw Margaux, I said to one of the guys in the band, you know, she's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. And I said, I want to go up and talk to her. He said, you can't talk to her. That's Margaux Hemingway. I said, who's Margaux Hemingway? He said, it's the granddaughter of Ernest Hemingway, the famous writer. I knew he was a famous writer, but I didn't know what he wrote. You know, this is way back in the day. This is like 1970s. Margaux was a few years younger than me. So anyway, I went up to her. I said, well, I can use this Hemingway bit to get next to Margaux. So I went up and I had my tuxedo on, right? And I was 250 pounds back then. I know I'm a little all over the road here, but that's the way I do it. I was 250 pounds back then. I had a full beard and I had long hair down to my shoulders. Now I don't have any hair. And I looked like, with my secondhand shop tuxedo and my disco boots with the platform soles and everything, I looked like a water buffalo grazing among beautiful people, you know? And I went up to her and I said, you know, I'm a real big fan of your grandfather's. And she said, oh, really? What book do you like? And I said, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Wonderful. She said, no, that was Mark Twain. And then she handed me her glass and told me to go top up her drink. She thought I was a waiter. She didn't know I was in the band. So after that, I had her in my head, but I was nothing. I was like so far off her radar screen, it's unbelievable. And the next time I met her was in 1996, and by this time I had made a real serious track record for myself as a record producer and running my band, which is called Big Ska. It's a really famous reggae band. And we're playing this gig out in 1996 out in East Hampton, New York. And it was, again, man, it was just filthy rich people, mega rich people. And Margaux shows up, and oh my God, I wanted to ask her to marry me, you know? So I said, well, I'm going to talk to her. I walked up to her, and I said, you don't remember me, but we met like many, many years ago, and I just want to say, you know, I think you're just absolutely beautiful. And she handed me her glass. Told me to top up her glass. But this time, I made sure, like, I kept bringing her drinks and like a real waiter. At one point, she handed me $20 as a tip, which I took. And we got to talking. She actually I asked her, like, on breaks, can I sit next to you and talk to you? And I won't bite or nothing, you know. Everything's cool. I'm not nuts. And she let me sit next to her and talk to her. And we talked about all kinds of stuff. This is just one night, one gig, a few hours. And she said to me, I said, you know, I'm not a waiter, by the way. I lead that band that's playing tonight. You know, I've been playing all night long. I don't know if you noticed me, but you know. And so I'll wrap this up real quick so we can get the next guy in here. Oh, cool, 5 minutes. So in talking to her, she would laugh. I loved her laugh, but I could just speak and she laughed. And I, you know, like I could say like, oh, I went to a funeral today, and she would laugh. And I said, why do you laugh every time I talk? She said, it's your Bronx accent is the way you use the F-bomb as an adjective is unbelievable. You know, and I would say, what are you fucking kidding me? I spent like 3 hours in her company and fell hopelessly in love with her. And she had maybe a few months left to live. She committed suicide around July 1st, 1996. She took an overdose of sleeping pills. She had a terrible case of depression. But I was able to talk to her on the phone a few times in between the last gig and the end. And she and I had the nicest phone conversations, and everything I said made her laugh. And I loved hearing her laugh. So I'll just read you the last line of this chapter. Margaux passed away that summer in Los Angeles. I was so sad to get the news. I really liked her. On my second CD, which is called Big Ska, there's a song that I wrote for her, and it's entitled Margaux. I spent a grand total of a few hours with her, but we had a lot of laughs. She loved my Bronx accent and the way I used the F-bomb. The publisher took that word out as an adjective. And she loved the stories of me and my father and our Bronx shenanigans. She said that I could always make her laugh, and I love to make Margaux laugh. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Joe.